Hello dear children, welcome back to chemistry class. We have learned in our previous class about physical properties and how physical properties are different in case of metals and non-metals. We have also learned about chemical properties and how do they differ in case of metals and non-metals. Now let us quickly revise the properties of metals and non-metals. We know that out of the total 118 elements of the periodic table, 91 of the elements are metals. We have also learned their properties. That is, metals are hard, they are opaque, which means they do not allow light to pass through them. Metals are lustrous, which means they shine on reflection of light. Metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. Metals are also malleable and ductile, which means they can be beaten into sheets and it can be drawn into wires. Metals also have a very high tensile strength, which means they can withstand longitudinal pull. We have also learned that metals are sonorous, which means they produce a resonating or a ringing sound when they are struck. And we also have learned that metals, when they react with dilute acids, they liberate hydrogen gas. When metals react with atmospheric oxygen, the product formed is metallic oxide, and these metallic oxides, when metals react with oxygen, are called basic oxides. Now, basic oxides are those oxides which, when reacting with water, will give us base. So these are the general properties that we have learned about metals. There are different types of metals. Base metals, which means these are the metals which will get oxidized easily. Some of the examples of base metals are, as you all know, iron, which gets oxidized easily, lead and copper. So these are the metals which get oxidized easily and they are called base metals. The next type of metals are ferrous metals. Now, as you all know, ferrous, which is derived from the Latin word and meaning is that it contains iron. So ferrous metals generally contain iron in them. And the best example for that is pure iron. The next type of metals are noble metals. Noble metals, unlike base metals, they do not easily get oxidized, but they are resistant to corrosion. And because these noble metals are very rare, they are considered to be precious metals. Some of the examples of noble metals are, as you all know, gold, platinum, palladium and silver. So these are the metals, even when they are exposed to air and moisture, they do not get oxidized easily. That is why we say that they are resistant to corrosion. And since they are very rare on earth, they are called as precious metals. And the last type of metals are heavy metals. Now they are called as heavy metals based on their density or atomic weight. Some examples of heavy metals are mercury and lead. So these are the different types of metals: base metals, ferrous metals, noble metals and heavy metals. Now let us quickly have a look at the properties of non-metals. We know that out of total 118 elements of the periodic table, 91 elements are metals and 17 elements are non-metals. Now we have already learned the properties of non-metals. They are just opposite to that of metals. So non-metals are non-lustrous, which means they do not shine on reflection of light. Non-metals are poor or bad conductors of heat and electricity. Non-metals are non-malleable and non-ductile. And we have also learned that non-metals, when they are struck, they do not produce a resonating or a ringing sound, which means they are non-sonorous. Non-metals, when they react with atmospheric oxygen, they give metallic oxides. Now, when non-metals react with atmospheric oxygen, metallic oxides formed are called acidic oxides. Now, acidic oxides will react with water to give acid. Non-metals do not react with dilute acid to give or to liberate hydrogen gas. Non-metals are subclassified into halogens and noble gases. Now, look into this periodic table. We know that in the periodic table, there are 7 horizontal rows called periods and 18 vertical columns called groups. Now, let us see from each of these periods which are the non-metals that are present. From period 1, the non-metals present are hydrogen and helium. From period 2, the non-metals present are carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine and neon. From period 3, the non-metals present are phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine and argon. From period 4, the non-metals present are, as you see here, cesium, bromine and krypton. And from period 5, the non-metals are iodine and xenon. From period 6, the non-metals are astatine and radon. Research is still going on to place few of the elements into their respective category. Now, let us learn what is atomicity of nonmetals. We have already learned that atomicity is the number of atoms present in a molecule of an element. Now, we are going to learn from these nonmetals which of them are monoatomic, diatomic and polyatomic. We have already learned in chapter 4 that all the noble gases, their atomicity is equal to 1, which means they exist as monoatomic molecules. So, noble gases that are the subset of nonmetals like helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon and radon. Now, these noble gases, they have the atomicity 1, which means they are monoatomic molecules. While the nonmetals like hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine, that is the nonmetals hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen and then from the halogens, fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine, all of them have the atomicity 2, which means they exist as diatomic molecules. While phosphorus, sulfur and selenium, these are the nonmetals that exist as polyatomic molecules. Now, let us learn what are the different states in which these nonmetals are present. Nonmetals like hydrogen, helium, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, chlorine, argon, krypton, xenon and radon, all of them are present in the gaseous state generally. While those nonmetals that are present in the solid state are carbon, phosphorus, sulfur, selenium and iodine. Carbon, phosphorus, sulfur, selenium and iodine. So these are the nonmetals which exist as solids generally. That is, they exist in the solid state. While bromine, it will exist as a liquid at room temperature. So bromine, it is a subset of nonmetal, but it belongs to the category of halogens. So bromine is an element which exists as a liquid at room temperature. Now let us go in a little more deep to know more about halogens. We have already learned that halogens are subsets of nonmetals. So as you see here in the periodic table, group 17 elements are called halogens. That is, they are placed next to noble gases. So the halogens are fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine and astatine. Halogen, as the name says, hal means salt and gen means producer. That is why the word put together, halogen, is called salt producer. This is because when halogen reacts with a metal, it produces salt. For example, the halogen chlorine, when it reacts with the metal sodium, it produces a salt, and that is sodium chloride. Same like that, the halogen bromine, when it is reacted with potassium, which is a metal, it produces a salt, that is potassium bromide. That is why it is called a salt producer. Now, among all the halogens, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine and astatine, the most reactive halogen is fluorine. Now, fluorine has the property of preventing tooth decay. That is why fluorine is often added to water supply. The most abundant halogen is chlorine. Now, chlorine is often used as a bleaching agent. Chlorine has got the ability to kill germs, especially it is added to swimming pools and also during the water purification process in order to kill germs. Now the next halogen, iodine, as we all know, it is used in iodized salt. Now deficiency of iodine in our diet can cause a deficiency disease called goiter. So addition of iodine, which is a halogen, in the iodized, which makes up the iodized salt, can prevent the deficiency disease called goiter. So this is all about halogens. Now let's have a look at noble gases. We know that noble gases are placed in the extreme right position of periodic table. So the noble gases are helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon and radon. Noble gases belong to group 18 or they are called group 0 elements. Atomicity of noble gases is equal to 1, which means they are monoatomic. So noble gases are naturally occurring monoatomic gases. Noble gases are generally inactive, which means they do not react with any other elements. And that is why noble gases are called chemically inert elements. Noble gases has got various uses. For example, the noble gas argon, it is used in light bulbs in order to prevent tungsten filament from getting oxidized. So we use tungsten filament in light bulb. Now since argon, it is a noble gas, it is chemically inert and therefore it is inactive. So it is used in order to prevent tungsten filament from getting oxidized in light bulbs. Now the noble gas helium, it is used by deep sea divers. It helps in easing the breathing process. The noble gas xenon has its application, that is, it is used as an anesthetic in the medical field. The noble gas radon, it is a radioactive element and it is used in radiotherapy. So these are some of the uses of noble gases.